Hello, I'm J.D. Robertson. About 1/3 of all the people with diabetes do not know they have the disease. This fact was found from Joslin Diabetes Center. Today I'm going to inform my audience about diabetes. Diabetes can affect anyone. It is important to be informed about the disease because it's so common today. Diabetes is a serious disease, and being educated could save a life. I will discuss what diabetes is, the different types of diabetes, and the way diabetes is treated. First off, I will start off with what diabetes is. Diabetes is a disease in which the body is not able to produce any or enough insulin, causing an elevated levels of sugar in the blood. Diabetes occurs when the body cannot produce insulin or does not produce enough insulin. Insulin is how the body controls sugar levels within the blood. There's an ideal number that the body's blood glucose should stay at. An adult blood glucose levels should be from 70 to 100 before a meal, according to WebMD. There are many symptoms of diabetes according to the medical news today. Symptoms of diabetes meaning a person will suffer from frequent urination, increase in thirst, and an increase in hunger. Now that we know what diabetes is, we will now talk about the different types. There are three main types of diabetes. The first one I will teach you about is type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is commonly found in younger children. Other names for this are juvenile diabetes or early onset diabetes. The body does not produce insulin on its own. The patient is born with no way to break down sugar in the body. Type 1 diabetes is not as common as the next form of diabetes, type 2. Approximately 10% of diabetes cases are type 1, according to medical news today. Type 2 diabetes is more common in adults. The body cannot compensate for how much sugar is entering the system, leading to the body not being able to provide enough insulin is a result of type 2 diabetes. Gestational diabetes happens when women who are pregnant. Medical news today explains gestational diabetes is similar to type 2 diabetes, being that there is too much glucose within the blood and the body cannot give enough insulin for it. If the woman goes undiagnosed, it could cause risk for birth and complications during the pregnancy. The gestational diabetes commonly goes away after the woman gives birth. Now that I have spoken about the different forms of diabetes, I will now share their common treatments. The treatments for diabetes will depend on what type of diabetes the person has. There are different ways someone can be treated for type 1 diabetes. The person will take insulin daily, sometimes many times in a day. There are insulin injections available, so the people will give themselves shots as prescribed. Insulin pumps are now available, which attach to the body and are designed to dispense specific amounts of insulin into the body. The patient will also need to watch their carbohydrate intake and eat healthy in order to take control of their blood sugar. Type 2 diabetes is very common and easily avoidable. According to WebMD, type 2 diabetes will typically occur in people overweight and over 40 years old. With weight being a factor in type 2 diabetes, it can be cured with a simple diet and exercise. Some patients will be prescribed pills or injections to help lower their blood sugar. Gestational diabetes can be sprung on a patient halfway through their pregnancy, so it is important to know treatment options. American Diabetes Association claims that special meal plans and physical activity can improve gestational diabetes. This diabetes will most likely require daily insulin testing and insulin injections. In conclusion, diabetes is a common disease throughout America. It can have an impact on children, adults, and pregnant women. There are three types. Type 1, where the body does not produce insulin on its own. Type 2, where the body cannot produce enough insulin. And gestational diabetes in pregnant women. Living a healthy life, physical activity, and smart food choices can decrease anyone's risk of diabetes. Anyone can get diabetes, so it is important that the world become more informed on what it is, and the different types, and lastly on how it is treated. If the world becomes better educated, together we can help prevent this disease.